it's unmuted.
Short joke. Yep, we're telling short jokes today. Telling short jokes on myself.
She's like, my head's the only thing showing.
It's like up to here. Like, we need to adjust this for short people. There.
But then it's...
Oh, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, welcome to Crazy Town. We're so glad you're here hanging out with us today as we dive into day 2 of our Town and Country workshop, which is exciting because normally day 2 is the final day of the workshop.
It is, but
not this time.
Not this time. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be ongoing. I think Sarah's up tomorrow.
Sarah and you.
Sarah and me. Okay, we better talk, Sarah, so we sound halfway intelligent.
I don't know, guys. Good luck tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding.
I just made everybody lose confidence. We got this. Don't worry.
Tomorrow is all about fabric. So that's going to be exciting because this is going to be kind of a stash buster.
It is.
If you do it right, you're going to be able to use some of that stuff you might have been sitting on for a little bit. We love your little crazy town. Good. Thank goodness. Because if we couldn't be our real selves, we would be in a big world of trouble.
We can't be serious very long.
We try sometimes, but Okay, so as we get started here today, I didn't tell you I wanted to do this, but I want to do this because we do have a lot of new people around. And by the way, if you were not here yesterday and maybe you're catching the workshop, and even though we're on day 2, it might be your first day, give me a number 5 in the comments. But I almost called you Nana. Annie.
It is my name to some people.
I thought we could sort of compare and contrast because HoopSisters is very different. Yeah. And for a lot of different reasons. Oh, no, I can't talk about my retirement plan right now. Evan Jones, I'm a little busy. So welcome, Fives. Awesome. Yeah. So you might not have caught us yesterday, but you're here today. So we are going to do a recap and some other things as well. So glad you're here. So Annie, take us through sort of traditional versus cool HoopSisters style.
Okay. So with traditional quilting, you have to cut your fabric the exact size they tell you. With HoopSisters, it doesn't have to be a precise cut.
Woo!
Because the machine will sew exactly where it needs to sew. And so once you start doing it, I think they'll understand. It's difficult to explain. And the same with the seams. Traditional quilting, you have to have an exact quarter inch seam in order to get all the pieces to fit correctly. But we digitize everything to be squared up, all the seams to be sewn exactly where they need to be.
So the girls, the designers and digitizers here are doing the hard part so that when you get the end result, you don't have to be perfect.
That's
I
love
that.
Right.
What else?
Which is awesome. The other thing is when you're sewing your quilt top together and then you have to layer it in traditional quilting, which means sometimes you have to lay your backing fabric in a large area and tape it down and lay your batting down and then your quilt top down. You have to pin it. It's hard on your hands and knees, especially when you get towards the age that I am. But the thing about HoopSisters, when you do HoopSisters, the blocks are totally layered and completely finished while it's in the hoop, quilting and everything. So there's no need to have this big space, get on your hands and knees and layer everything because it's already done well.
Who wants to do that?
I don't. I used to do that.
Yeah,
and
I
this
have a
is
quilt
just
you made
so
by
much
hand.
Easy. Yep. Yep. There's a couple of them roaming around out there. And the other thing too, and I don't know if I'm getting all the tips that she has on there. You can read those yourself too. But you have to figure out when you get your quilt completely finished and you get it layered and all that, and it's all pinned together and pick it up off the floor. Then you have to, a lot of instructions say quilt is desired. So you have to figure out how to quilt it. You have to figure out, am I going to do this with my regular sewing machine myself? How do I want it? Am I going to hand sew it or am I going to send it off to a long armor that you have to pay quite a bit of money for? But the cool thing about HoopSisters is the quilting is included.
Yes, you don't have to do that.
Custom to every single design. It's custom quilting built right into the embroidery design, which is very cool.
Yeah, so
Did I
what you
miss any
see
of
is what
those?
you get. I think you pretty much nailed them in your own words. But yeah, I mean, the fact that the quilting is included is such a leg up, and the quilting is magnificent. So I always tell people, you're going to look like a master quilter, even if you're just starting out.
You will.
How cool is that?
That is very cool. And it's just so much easier. I would have a hard time quilting these quilts myself on a regular sewing machine, but because it's embroidery and it's already digitized, it comes out looking phenomenal.
Gotta love it. Okay, so I definitely wanted to make sure that we talked about this, considering we do have so many new Hoop Sisters with us. And I see some 5s in the comments. So that means that you are joining us on day 2, but it's your first day. So welcome, and we're glad you're here for sure. The other announcement that I want to make sure that everyone is aware of is that we do have participating affiliate shops. Because this is a download only, they don't have USBs in their store, but they do have a shopping link that they can share with you that will take you to our website to order. So a lot of times you can just go to their website. You'll see a Hoop Sisters logo. Click that. So if this is your home shop, that's a wonderful way to support your home shop. And if you have a home shop that usually does Hoop Sisters, but you don't see their name on here, you can still go to their website and click through their affiliate link, or ask them, what does that mean? Where is this link? And they will help you out. Okay. If you are not anywhere near those shops and you would like to order directly from us, you can do that too. And I'll have Nina drop that link now, but don't feel rushed. We're going to talk things through today, and we'll drop it a few times. Okay.
Because I'll bet those number 5s don't even know what they're in for.
I know, right? I don't have anyone currently in Louisiana that is considered a participating affiliate shop that said they are going to do this and participate in this. But Kimberly, if you have a shop, or anyone, if you're in a different state and you have a shop that typically has Hoop Sisters, I'm sure you could ask them and they could give you an affiliate link. Okay. All right. So the other thing I want to mention is we do have Miss Nina Gladden. She is our customer service amazing person in the comments, answering questions. She's answering questions, you guys, on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously.
And I got to say, yesterday she was doing that simultaneously while talking on the phone. So
she can multitask.
She can really multitask. But if you don't mind waiting till the live's over to call her, that way it makes it a little easier for her to focus. Not that she can't do it, but gosh, I wouldn't want to do it.
Right.
That's amazing.
The other thing that I will mention is, since we are working through tons of comments in 2 different places, if you have a specific question about something that you have going on, we want to make sure that we answer you the best way possible. And in order for that to happen, we do ask that you reach out to her directly so you don't get missed. And we will pop her contact information up a few times on the screen as well. Okie dokie. So for our number 5s, before we get into the trimming, pinning, and joining that you're going to show, what did we do yesterday?
Yesterday, we stitched out our bonus block, and we'll show you that here in just a minute. We also gave a little tour of our town and country quilt, and we've got cute little line of trees. We've got a barn with barn doors that open, and we'll show a cute little cow inside. There's the silos and the sunset and the farmhouse and the adorable clothesline with the 3D clothes. So you will make your clothes separate and then lay them on the block, and little clothespins stitch out to hold your clothes to it.
I popped a question up for you.
Okay. Is this beginner friendly? Well, let me tell you something. It is beginner friendly.
Well, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something, Donna. The unique thing about Hoop Sisters is that it doesn't matter how complicated it looks or how simple it looks. It basically means if it looks more complicated, it just has more steps. In our instructions, and if you're familiar with our instructions, give us a little review in the comments right now, but our instructions will give you an image of every step of what the embroidery machine will do in that step, and written instructions. And once in a while, if we feel like we're not communicating well, we'll even stick a little photograph in there too. And the fun thing about this is a sew along. So you'll be able to, you can sew along with us. You can sew at your own pace. But every week we will come on and we will show how to do another block. And we're going to be doing that on Mondays, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. Also, welcome, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Newbie from Southern Ohio and just started quilting in June. Woo, nice. That's awesome. We're glad you found us and you're going to be stitching along. Okay. What else do we have here? I just want to make sure I've got everything that I can possibly get. Okay, there's that clothesline. We'll show these details again. So if you were new and you missed it yesterday, this is going to be a download only. There are no USBs. And so it's a download only for $79. You get 2 sizes, which is the other really nice thing. So if you can only do a 5-inch, you can get in on this. And secretly,
yes,
we kind of think the 5-inch is even more adorable. I think it's just the size.
It's just adorable. It's just so cute.
Yep, it really is. So there's the finished sizes there. The large one is hanging behind us, if that gives you any idea there. Okay.
Is it time to trim?
I think it's your turn to take this over.
All right.
So we're kind of remind them what we did yesterday. Talk about the tools too, including the battleizer.
Yes, ma'am. I will do that.
All right.
Okay. So all you number 5s who were not here yesterday, this block, we repeated it 5 times and sewn it together. This can be an additional or an optional row on your row quilt. So you can make it bigger. You could replace it. This could also be used as a second border or the actual border in the quilt. So this is your bonus block, which you will get when you purchase it. This is it all sewn in a row. Yesterday, what we did was we stitched it out again. So this I stitched out again. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to trim it, because obviously this is already trimmed up. And we'll talk more about how to sew it together and all that. But it is trimmed up, or we're going to trim it up. And basically what you need to do when you get ready to sew your blocks together is you need to cut the battleizer right up to this basting stitch. And you could attempt to do that with a rotary cutter and a ruler. But the chances of you slicing right into that piece of fabric there is pretty high.
How do you know that?
Because I've done it many times.
You did it the wrong way many times.
Yes.
The old way.
Right. And I've tried with the scissors, and just when you least expect it, you're going to end up slicing into that even with the scissors. So we have an amazing tool called the Trimmer by George. And basically it is an acrylic ruler. But the amazing part about it is it has this metal edge here. And this metal edge is what you use to protect the fabric on the front. So let me show you what you're going to do. You are going to take that metal edge and you're going to, we like to say, shimmy it in there between the fabric on the front and the battleizer. So we'll just slide it in there and then lay it down. And as you can see, the fabric on the front is being protected by that metal edge. So then what I like to do is I like to just do a gentle tug like so. And then you will use your rotary cutter to trim away the bulk in the seam. And so there you go. There's nothing left. That is all completely gone. And any side that you're going to sew another block to, you're going to trim it with the metal edge of the George. If you have a side that is the edge of your quilt where the binding is sewn to it, then you'll just cut 1/4 inch through the basting stitch.
So I have a wonderful question from Janet on Facebook.
Okay.
And she says, I realize this project doesn't have the backing on the blocks, but I was wondering how you trim if there is backing on the blocks.
That's a really good question, Janet. Basically, you're going to do the exact same thing because you are going to want the backing fabric to also be trimmed right up to that basting stitch. So if this had backing fabric on it, you will trim the exact same way. Just shimmy that in there and lay it down, and it will cut the battleizer and your backing fabric right up to the basting stitch. So that was a very good question. All right, got a couple more sides so you can see me do it a couple more times. Just shimmy it in there underneath the fabric and on top of the battleizer. Make sure, I always do a visual just to make sure I didn't have any fabric peeking out. Give it a gentle tug. And I will also remind everyone, you do need to use a 60 millimeter rotary cutter because of the metal edge does raise that ruler up a little bit. So make sure you have a 60 millimeter rotary cutter. And if you don't have one and you think, well, I'm going to try it with my 45, because there's not as much room here on a 45, your tendency would be to cut it at an angle, which means your blade is going to slide underneath that metal edge. That's why the 60 millimeter will bring it up high enough so that you can cut in the right way. So there we have it. Can't see any battleizer. Let me show you the back, how it's trimmed right up to that basting stitch.
Wow, look at that.
And if there was backing fabric on here, you'd see your backing fabric, but it would also be trimmed right up to
that
there.
Shows up so good, the way that blue fabric's hanging over.
Yeah. So then your next step, so that you can continue to prepare it, is you're going to use your trimmer by George and flip it over the other way. And you're going to line your 1/4 inch mark right up to that basting stitch and trim your fabric. So I'm just going to go around our block here and trim all those sides.
Someone wants to know why it's called George.
Oh, okay. Well, years ago, I believe it was the double wedding ring design, we were trimming the blocks like this. And we had a sweet lady named Martha. And Martha was test sewing for us. And Martha's husband he enjoyed sitting next to her and reading our instructions. And her job was to follow it to a T, make sure we made sense. And basically, what Martha had to do was trim it like this, but she didn't have the trimmer by George, and she kept slicing into it. And Martha's husband's name, of course, is George. So we have our cute little George and Martha couple. And George went out to his workshop, and he actually took like a little piece of gutter material and he crimped the edge and he brought it in. So George actually invented the trimmer by George. So that's why it carries that name. And then we've had a couple different variations and versions since then that have improved it. I want to talk about all this battleizer that we just cut off here. So if you have, and I think I tossed a piece over there, but you're cutting all this battleizer off. Aubrey's got longer arms than I do. What you can do is you can take your pieces of batting or battleizer. This edge doesn't look straight. So if your edges aren't straight, you can just pop them on top of each other, put a rotary cutter, just rotary cut it so it's straight. If they're straight, just put them together and then zigzag stitch them. We call that Franken batting. And that way you can continue to use that. You can add another piece if you need to, but we can reserve that battleizer and make it go a long way.
I mean, why waste it?
I know. Why would you do that? Okay, so now let's talk about how to, I'm not going to actually sew this together because I have this one exactly the way I want it, but I wanted to show our pinning technique that you can use that's going to keep your blocks when you're sewing it from shifting this way or this way. And it's going to keep this basting stitch lined up with the basting stitch on this block. So I'm going to put the right sides together. I'm going to move George over there. So when you're pinning, you need to look at your block first and go, you need to figure out where are your match points. In other words, is there any stitching or any fabric here that lines up with the next block? And you're going to want to make sure that those are matched. So really the only thing on these two are these corners. So we're going to make sure that we pin starting in the corners. And I always pin starting in the corners. And you're going to take your first pin and you're going to pin right perfectly in the corner of this block. And then you're going to take your pin where the match point is on the other one. You can see hopefully you can see that basting stitch. There's the corner of it. And this is called my anchor pin. I'm just going to leave my anchor pin in there. It's sticking straight out. I did not bring it back through the block because this is my anchor pin. I'm going to take another one, and I'm going to do it in this corner. Find the exact corner there and the exact corner on the block behind it. And that also is going to be my anchor pin. So we have those 2 pins sticking out. And now we're going to take a second pin right by where the anchor pin is. We're going to pin only through the seam allowance. We don't want to pin through all that bulk, because pinning through the bulk and then bringing it back is going to cause everything to shift. So just pin right through the 2 pieces of fabric, your seam allowance, and then you can bring it back through the block, and then you can remove your anchor pin. I'll do the same thing over here on this corner. We've got our anchor pin in there. I'm going to put this pin right through just the fabric, just the 2 pieces of fabric, and then I can bring it back through the block. And that, like I said, it keeps everything from shifting, and it works great. Now I'm going to put another pin in here. This is a little 5-inch block, so I think we'd probably only need 3. There's really no other match points in there. The only thing you really need to worry about is matching this basting stitch up with the basting stitch on the other block. So I'm going to put the pin through the basting stitch. I actually put it all the way through, but I'm going to peek in here to make sure my pin is on the basting stitch on both blocks. And it is. And again, this is my anchor pin. And then I'm going to pin with another pin through just the 2 pieces of fabric and then back through the block. So now that I have it pinned, what you're going to do next is I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you what you would do next is you would take it to the machine and you would sew right on that basting stitch, right directly on it, removing the pins as you go. And then when you're done, you are going to have something that looks like that, and that's your seam. Now, the other thing you need to do is, this is a row. Well, all quilts have rows. This specifically is called a row quilt, but let's talk about pressing as well. So we put wool in ours. Wool is optional. You don't have to use it. It just gives your blocks a little bit more dimension. But if you were to take your blocks and you were to go ahead and press them, we like to press them to one side and alternate the other row to press to the other side. But if you were to take your iron on here and just press that and you had wool in there, it would smash your wool. And there goes your dimension. So we have this cute little item called a strip stick. It's basically flat on the bottom, so that part lays on your cutting table or on your ironing board. And then this part is rounded, and the rounded edge is going to go right underneath where your seam is. That way, when your iron touches it, it's only going to touch where the seam is. And I always press them to one side. Well, after I press this side, I usually will I always turn it over, and then I will press it also on the front. So now you've seen the strip stick, you've seen the trimmer by George. They're just amazing tools that once you use them, you can't live without them. Barbara George says she can't live without it.
Yeah.
Well, not in those words, but Sandy says, what wool do you use, or can you double layer the battleizer? We use Quilter's Dream Wool. You could also find a polyester that has a similar loft to it, and you could use that if you're allergic to wool. I probably would not double up the battleizer. I think it may be too heavy. You can try it both ways and see what you think. Honestly, I've never tried doubling up the battleizer, but I think the wool is going to give it a little more loft than what a second layer of battleizer does.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else over there?
That's all I have over here. So now they know how to pin, how to press, how to do all that stuff.
So have you learned something yet over the course of the 2 days? Have you learned anything? Give me a yes if you have. And if you're just a frequent flyer, you probably already know all this. But hopefully you've learned something over the course of the 2 days we've spent so far. So now let's talk about the sew along details, because somebody asked earlier if this is a good place to begin.
Yes.
And I think absolutely.
Yep.
And just the fact alone that there's a sew along included with this is going to be super duper helpful. There's lots of yeses. They've learned a little something. If there's just one thing you can take away from, our time here live, how cool is that, right? So we will have a 4-week sew along included. Your instructor, Miss Annie Moody here. So if you have learned and like the way she's teaching you, get ready because she's got 4 live classes coming up. When are we doing those, Annie?
We are doing those on Mondays at 11 o'clock. It starts September 30th. And then every week for the next 3 weeks. So September 30th, October 7th, October 14th, and the 21st. Yep. All Mondays at 11 Eastern time.
And we always have replays.
Yes.
So even if you cannot catch it at that time, if you order the quilt, you're going to get email replays. So you can always, even if you're working, some people like to sneak in here during work and watch live. If you can't do that, you could always do it on Saturday.
That's
be
true.
Stitching, watching the replay. So just know that the replays are always available for you to watch.
And the cool thing about replays when we're teaching you how to do something like that is you can start it. You can stop it and do what we did. And then you can start it again. And that always makes it really helpful.
Yes, it sure does. Okay, now let's get into ordering and the best deal and all that kind of stuff as we kind of wind down today. I'm going to ask Nina to drop that order link in the comments. She's going to pop it in YouTube and Facebook so everyone can go check out the category on the website. So right now through Friday, this Friday, September 20th, 2024 at midnight Eastern, we are having a free shipping going on. If it's shipped somewhere in the US and your orders are $129 or more in your cart, you will get automatic free shipping.
That's a good stock up sale right there with that free shipping.
And the $79 downloadable design does count towards your total.
That's awesome.
So fantastic. Even though we're not shipping that to you, it counts. Okay. So just know that. And then we also, someone asked earlier, is there a sale on the George or the Battleizer? And this is how you get the sale. Okay. So, and I saw somebody really took advantage of this. They did over the $129. They got the design and some of the things in the category, and they saved quite a bit of money in the discount 10% level. Plus they didn't pay for the shipping.
That's
so
awesome.
It was a lot of savings. So we have what we like to call a create your own bundle sale. And that just means you go to the link that Nina just dropped, and there are 2 pages within that category. And if you add any 2 items within that category, I do have a couple exclusions I'll tell you about, but most of that stuff is going to count towards your 10% off. Even the trimmer that we talked about today is included in the Create Your Own bundle, as well as our Battleizer. And there's 2 sizes of Battleizer, 5 yards or 15 yards. So Annie, if you were making the 5-inch size, you probably need just a 5 yard.
I can't remember. It says on the instructions.
Sarah,
can you look that up? I think the fabric and thread key might be on my cutting board.
Well, we'll find that out.
Put me on the spot. Aubrey.
But either one of them will count towards the sale of 10% off. Okay. And so there are a couple exclusions. The first exclusion that we want to tell you about is the strip stick. This isn't our product. We just sell it. So this is not included, as well as any threads on our website. Those are things that we suggest and recommend you use. They do not count towards the bundle. Okay. Hopefully that is all clear for everybody.
Sarah? The small one requires 5 to 6 yards, so make ready for that. And the big one is 10 to 11 yards.
Okay. Did you guys hear that? Sarah said if you're doing the 5-inch town and country, you're going to need 5 to 6 yards. So you might need a little, if you have a little extra now.
Yeah. And that's why you need to maybe Frankenbat.
Yeah.
And the reason there's a yardage range is because everybody's hoops are different size.
Yeah.
So use the smallest hoop possible, Frankenbat, and you probably get away with 5
And
yard.
the 8-inch needed what, Sarah?
10 to 11.
Thank you. 10 to 11 yards of Battleizer. Again, we just give you a recommendation because depending on your hoop size, it's going to be a little different. Okay.
And I will tell you that we calculated it without Frankenbatting.
There you go.
So,
okay. So you can probably save a little and not do quite that much. Okay, this is another question I saw earlier. Is there still time for me to get the bonus?
Oh yeah.
And we're doing the bonus a little different this time. It's included, okay? It's included. There's no time frame on the bonus. It will not pop in your cart as a separate thing. If we did do that, we'd probably charge $15 for it like we normally do. But this time around, we're including it, okay? So changing things up on you a little bit, I know. But what's really cool about that is let's show them why the bonus is so cool. Because we do have some people here who weren't able to watch yesterday. And I just want to hold, first of all, they didn't see all this amazing details either. But here's the quilt. And
Look
Annie,
at the little socks and the little, what is that, pair of shorts? I think that's some boxers.
Yeah.
But it's just so stinking cute.
you got the, oh, okay.
And then the other thing is in the barn is a cow. There's a cute little cow there in the barn with the gate up.
Yep.
So hopefully he'll stay there. But the fun part too is that it's called Town and Country. So down here is the town, and you've got a quilt shop. It has bolts of fabric in the window, and it says open on the door. You've got your library. You've got your cafe with your cute awning. You have a church, and you have your market. So hamburgers only $4.99 at this market. So
well, and
I should go shopping.
Yeah. And let's talk about the versatility, because I just saw a question. Can I change out the silo for a tree? And to me, that seems totally doable.
Oh, absolutely.
So you could take
that's
this
a great
tree,
idea.
pop it in there.
That's
you
a great
can
idea.
change the order of the rows.
Yep.
So for example, this quilt back here, the rows are in different order.
Mhm.
The only exception to that, there's one exception to that, are these two rows here. And that is because the steeple is going up into the next row and the trees come down into this row. So these have to stay together. But other than that, you can do all sorts of things. You can even add a bonus row or replace a row altogether. Again, with the exception of those two.
So put it at the top.
Yeah.
If you want
Oh, a border. Yeah.
border instead,
Mm-hmm.
or two borders. I mean, a lot of things you can do with that.
Yep. So the bonus block creates even more versatility, and there was already a lot of versatility in there as it was. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm going to let Nina answer some comments because I'm getting very distracted. It's easy to do. Okay. So now let's talk about workshop pricing, because there was a time back in the day, you all, we've been in business since 2008. And there was a time where we didn't put new things on sale ever.
It's
for years.
New. We're not putting it on sale.
Then we changed that and we're like, you know what? Let's give them special pricing if they pay attention to the workshops and they hang out with us and get it while it's hot, get it while it's during the workshop. We do that 10% limited time pricing when you create a bundle. So here's an example of the workshop pricing and the bundle in action. So the design is a digital download only, is $79. And if you bundle it with, for example, a Battleizer 115, which is 15 yards of Battleizer, then you would normally, and if you bought the bonus row separate, your total would be $178.50. But during the workshop, you would get 10% off the design, 10% off the Battleizer. We're not charging for the bonus row, so you'd only spend $147.15. That would also get you free shipping within the contiguous US, wow, and it would save you $31.35.
That's a good deal.
It's a great deal. And so if you like it during the workshop, I definitely encourage you to get it because it's the best pricing. And this particular workshop goes on for 5 days. Normally you got 2 days to make a decision, but this is going on through September 20th, which is also really nice. Okay, so now's your time to get the complete set this week. You've got the free gift, the bonus, and the adorable Town and Country quilt, which I love. We do have 2 giveaways today, too.
Today's going to be fun for giveaway wise because it's something a little different.
It is. So I'm going to do the row one first.
Okay.
So if you're on here live, go ahead and type the word row in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, And we are going to do a $50 store credit for HoopSisters once I share my screen. Okay. All right. So this is for the store credit giveaway and the word row. Oh, somebody else got in there real quick. Good work. All right. Let's go ahead and hit the button. Let's see who it is. Okay, Maggie, you're on. I feel like Maggie's on all the lives. I know your name. So congratulations. Your live viewing has paid off and you have just won $50 in HoopSisters store credit. I hope you're like, eek, yay. Congratulations, Maggie. That's super exciting. I'm going to actually remove this. Okay. Okay, what else do we got to talk about?
You're out of breath.
I know, I've been talking a lot.
So how's she going to claim her $50?
Oh, well, yeah, we should probably tell you that. She knows. She watches live all the time. No, I forgot to tell you. So go ahead and email Nina Maggie and let her know that you are, excuse me, you are the $50 store credit winner for Tuesday. Congratulations. And I know you will find a way to spend that well, which is great. Okay. Now, the next giveaway is our Buttercup.
We're giving away a Buttercup.
Isn't this precious? I just can't get over the tongue and the eyes. Look at this.
But
we
look
did not
where
make
the tongue is. It's cute.
I know.
So cute. Okay, so a friend of mine named Jasmine made this.
Isn't that precious?
And she can crochet anything, but it's a cute little cow. And we're going to do a drawing for the cow.
And you get 5 yards of battleizer. So this is the big one. This was the registration giveaway.
This is a big one. Cool.
So Buttercup is so cute. And there's so many people entered that you're not even going to be able to see the names, but I'm still going to pull it up. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Look how many of you played this game.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I am going to click and spin. That's making me dizzy. Who's going to win Buttercup? And they might not be on live, but oh my gosh, I hope the name pops up bigger. Okay. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to say Kathy's last name.
Hamsfar?
Cool. I'm going to take a picture of that so I remember who it is. Congratulations, Kathy. Yeah. You're the big winner of Buttercup the cow. And we will get this sent to you. We'll get a hold of you and find out your address and all that good stuff. So Buttercup is so cute. In fact, I've liked having Buttercup hanging around. We might need another one.
We put Buttercup on top of some bolts of fabric on a bookcase.
Yeah.
And so Buttercup's been watching us for a while. So, but Kathy, he's yours now. You can put him wherever you want in your house.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, as we wrap up here today, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we're talking all about fabric.
Yeah.
And we're going to just kind of go over all the fabric requirements and some of the other things you're going to need. Sarah's going to be on here with me.
I think it would be really helpful if we pulled the fabric requirements up or held them over here and just kind of looked at how we do it.
Yep.
Our instructions. So
I think we should show some different layout ideas too.
Oh,
that would be good.
Can you guys hear Sarah? She's got a whole plan for you. So just come back tomorrow. We'll be live again at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Facebook and YouTube and talk all about fabric. And then Thursday, I've got the customer service guru herself joining me live. We're going to show on the computer. She'll show you how to order, how to get the best deals in your cart, how to download the files. So if you're new, Thursday is going to be super duper helpful. We're going to do FAQs. And all that good stuff too. And then Friday, we're going to talk all about how to get ready for September 30th. So,
all right. That sounds good. I'm excited.
Me too. All right. We'll have Nina drop that order link one more time and we'll say sayonara and we will see you
tomorrow.
Bye-bye.